Mr. Downs, play that back.
Hey, this is Brandon Andre. I'd like to thank you all for tuning back into the Bad Habit Sessions. Of course, this is session 5, the final one. Definitely want to let you all know that we're talking about No Show, my song No Show today. No Show is about toxic relationships. How do you get in them? Do you stay in them? And how do you get out of them? All right? So, without further ado, let's try to get into it. All right? Let's go live. Welcome back to the Bad Habit Sessions. This is session 5. So it is the final session. I know we all about to cry after this, but it's all good. Anyway, so this session is on the song No Show. No Show is about getting out of that toxic relationship. So I want to start this whole thing off first off by introducing my peoples. First we'll start with Portia. You all know I always call her the most opinionated one. You know, or at least the most comedic opinionated one. You know what I mean? So then from Portia, Miss Portia, we're gonna go to Brother Meech, my other male up here that's, you know, helping me out and keeping me safe. You know. Then we've got Miss Kiki. Miss Kiki. This is Key right here. You know, she's opinionated as well. Not as comedic opinionated. She's more like brutally opinionated at times. You know, but you all have seen that throughout the week, so it's all good. Hey, give it to me. All right. So, so with the song No Show, we are talking about toxic relationships. Okay? I mean, once you've gone through everything that we've talked about throughout these past 4 weeks, you kind of come to the conclusion that this is not where you need to be. I mean, we've gone from Jameson and Ginger Ale meeting somebody. Okay, we went from there to body language, getting intimate. After body language, we went to bad habits, and we had to do 2 sessions on that because the bad habits are real, as you can see, they're real. So then we talked about truth be told, trying to build that trust back. But if that trust can't be built back, then you're in a relationship that's just not good for you mentally, and that will lead into physically. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about toxic relationships. How many of you all have been in toxic relationships before? Okay, I see that hand raised first.
I have.
You have?
Everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I saw the hand raised first. Let's go to Miss Portia and let's talk about how you dealt with that toxic relationship.
I don't want to be vulnerable first.
You don't want to be vulnerable first?
No.
I understand that. So let's go to Key. Let's go to Key. Let's talk about that toxic relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Put an S on the plural.
And let's talk about how you dealt with them, or lack thereof, and let's see what you got to say.
I feel like once a relationship affects your spirit and you no longer feel like yourself, or you just constantly like, what am I doing here? If you have that constant feeling like, why am I here? You don't need to be there. That's first. And it's toxic when it disturbs your peace, in my opinion. Some situations that I've been in, the moment I start feeling like I was no longer at peace, that's when I knew I had to get out. I think.
Feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you moving in a, in a way that you don't normally move, when you're in a relationship, yeah, it's bad, it's toxic. You get out of that.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be. I think when you're in a relationship, you gotta be comfortable with everything that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
The moment you start feeling like you're walking on eggshells, that's when it's a wrap.
Yeah, you don't recognize yourself. You like,
Yeah.
damn, I'm doing stuff.
That's it right
Yep.
there.
That I don't
You
normally do. Like,
yourself.
this ain't me.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Get
real.
out of there.
That's what I was
I mean, we're supposed to change for the better, in relationships. Like we talked about last week and a couple weeks before, you're supposed to be a happy person coming together with another happy person being happy. And then once that starts to go downhill, and you lose yourself, and then you're just miserable every day.
Mhm.
When you leave work and you find yourself like, let me just run to the mall just to walk around a little bit,
Right.
so I ain't got to go home to this one.
Shit, when the relationship affecting you at work, that's
Oh,
even
yeah.
worse. Like,
Oh, yeah.
That's where you supposed to, you know what I mean? Go, get your money and
And be
get
able to
away
get away
from
from
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit, when
It
you
is-
at work
it's-
and you like, damn, like you on break and you can't even enjoy your break. Like
Nope.
this motherfucker blowing my phone up on that bullshit, and I gotta take this shit back to work.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
Exactly. It's hard. It's hard. Our toxic relationships are hard. And relationships are hard enough. You know what I mean? But learning how to, and everybody has their own issues. You know, like when you come into a relationship, you're not going to be, completely synced with that other person on everything. Maybe the way that you roll up the toothpaste might be wrong or something like that. And that's something small. But, you get to those times when it's like, they just want to bitch about everything. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, when I start feeling controlled a little bit, I'm very free spirited.
Yeah.
So once I feel like, I gotta move like this, or I gotta call, and it's not like from the heart, I'm not calling because I want to, I feel like I have to.
Exactly.
That's when it gets toxic.
Yes.
And you gotta go.
So we know relationships aren't always happy times. You're not gonna be happy all the time. So when do you decipher y'all going through a rough patch versus being in a toxic relationship, Meech? When do you decipher? How do you decipher that? Which one do you think is just a rough patch, and what would you say is toxic?
Rough patch. I would say a rough patch would probably be, maybe you got caught, maybe inboxing or, chatting with somebody online. It could be, just, I don't know, some women nowadays, I start to notice that a lot of women hate that, they dislike that you might like a certain person's, pictures all the time. That's just, because, social media is out there for everybody to see, so. And I think something like that would be I don't know.
Like a rough patch? Or you think that's a toxic trait?
No, I don't think that's a toxic trait. I think that's just a rough patch. Eventually you just, hey, can you stop liking her pictures?
I think it's time. Like, how long do you feel insecure or controlled? Depends on if it's toxic or if y'all just going through something that you can talk about and then move on. Like, but if you are constantly feeling like you caged in or something ain't right, then it's toxic. But everybody has rough patches.
Yeah. Do you feel that the toxic relationships come from insecure people? Like, do you feel like, the insecurities of that person that you're in a relationship with are what causes the toxic relationship, or, insecurities within yourself?
That's definitely a characteristic. If someone is insecure, it can bring up a lot of different issues in a relationship. I may be super insecure about something that you're doing or somebody I'm dating is doing, and it's creating a rift or issues between us when you probably not even doing anything. But because I'm so insecure, I'm just like super worried about it, anxious, and pretty much bringing up all this story or creating a story in my head of something that's happening that's not really happening. What y'all think?
True.
Or I think forcing relationships too. Like, I feel like I'm a good person. I feel like you're a good person. So since we both good, we supposed to be good together.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's a lot of like forced relationships.
Yeah.
So when do you?
A lot of people don't want to be alone.
Exactly.
Some people don't want to be alone. Or
Exactly.
they don't know how to be alone.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And that's just like when you see the chicks is every month she got a different dude, like,
Yeah.
or the guy that might feel like he need a woman around him all the time.
Yeah.
I feel complete. Like, I know some guys that's kind of like that.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure right on. But how do you know when you're supposed to let that relationship go? Like, what is your breaking point? What is your breaking point when it comes to a toxic relationship? You know that you're walking on eggshells. What is it that just sets it off? Like, one day you're just like, you know what? I cannot do this anymore.
Shit, if you're going through that same issue every day, like, it's it's time to break it off. Like,
Yeah.
See, that's why I think I'm considered cold-hearted, because I try not to get close to people like that, because once I love hard. So it could be a toxic relationship, but I'm going to try my hardest to keep on trying to get you to see things my way, and you probably going to have to leave me before I leave you. So with me knowing that about myself, I just keep everything on a base level, or at least try to. So it's hard to say when to leave. It depends on how hard you love and what your personality type is for real.
Okay.
I guess like kind of like backing off what you said. I guess I'm the person, I feel like I give everything up front. I'm giving you 110%. I'm gonna be my pure self, and once you mess that up, then I know like I gave you my 100%. You messed that up, that's on you. So after that, I'm like, now I'm sitting back trying to see what you gonna do, how you gonna handle
That is
yourself. You know what I'm saying? So then that's where I'm like, okay, is this how he move normally? Like, okay, so crossing off the list, like, what are my absolute no's? And if he do my absolute no's, I got to go. Love you hard or not, you know what I'm saying?
If it's an everyday, thing, it's kind of like, all right, it's toxic. It's time for me.
Yeah, this ain't what's up.
You know, if it's every now and then, I feel like it's something we might be able to work with. Like, it's just a bad patch if it's every now and then.
So let me ask you all a question. This is for everybody. Before you were married, before you were even in a relationship, before you were in your relationships, period, did you all have a list of what you wanted in a person, or what you did not want in a person?
Yeah, I think everybody got a list, but you gotta compromise somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like a list as far as
Like-
it doesn't have to be physical. Like, I want a man that's 6 foot, chocolate or something like that. No, more like, his personality, his traits, his characteristics, all of that. His beliefs. Did you have a list of what you wanted, even if you didn't write it down? Did you have it in your head, like, this is what I want in a man?
Yeah.
Did you end up and when you didn't see that in that person that you were with, what kept you there?
See, that's the thing. My list didn't really go off of a relationship type of thing. Like, I want him to be good with his money. I want him to have a good relationship with his family, a good relationship with God. But that don't mean that that's going to work with me. So everything that I wanted in this person made him a good man, but not technically a good relationship person. So,
Okay.
yeah. I wasn't as specific as I probably should have been.
Okay.
I didn't have a list until recently. I never had a list. I mean, I had some things in my head that I knew that I wanted, but a specific list, I did not have that until
You got
recently.
older.
Yeah, until recently. Because you have to figure out yourself first
Yeah.
before you can decide
Definitely.
what you want in a person. And the fact that we grow and we change so much, That
list gonna change.
Yeah,
None of
your
your
list is
specific
gonna
And that list might
your
change right next
relationship?
year.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's specific. Yeah, I'll say it's specific because I feel like I've gotten myself in trouble in relationships by not being specific or very clear about what it is that I want and not budging on certain things. I think that's important because that's how you end up in a situationship for 3, 4, 5 years with something that ain't gonna work because you're trying to make them bend to something that's not who they are. It's not in their character.
Yeah, I feel like the older a woman gets, the harder it is for her to find the man she wants because that list get longer. You know what I mean? Like, you like, I'm 30 years old, I'm stable. Hey, he gotta be stable.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't think so.
when you young, I mean, you can deal with, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
stuff like that when you ain't got that many responsibilities.
Right.
When you get older, that's when the most responsible. I mean, your kids getting older.
Yeah.
You know, if you got kids, you
Right.
getting older, it's a lot of things you ain't about to deal with at 30 that you probably would deal with at 22 or
Exactly.
23 or something like that. So, that's why you see a lot of older women out here. That they like, shit, I don't know no niggas, you know what I mean? It's 30 years old
Right.
and still knocking on his mama door to get in the
Right,
house.
right.
You know.
So
like,
it's like when you compromise, back to what you were saying with compromise, when you're looking at that list, are you willing to compromise on bigger things? Like, do you think as women get older, they're willing to compromise on bigger things because they're not wanting to be lonely?
Nah.
You
don't think so?
I think my list was longer when I was younger.
Why?
Because it was like, oh, he gotta have a car, he gotta have
'Cause
this,
it's
he gotta that. I don't want no
But
man with
that's
no kids.
A
But
car
now
is
being
so easy to have. But when
I
you
started
get
to
older,
think
you
like
like,
when women get older, they start to realize how much real life can hit a person.
yeah, like
And
I
they
can't.
like, damn, we taking on so much, and the man's supposed to take on even more. You know, maybe I can't, really expect every single thing that was on this list from this man because I know how life can, really hit somebody. You know what I'm saying? You just never know. So that's what I was thinking with women. I don't know.
Yeah, in my 30s, I cannot expect a man not to have kids. Like, that's something that I would want in the perfect world.
but you would hope that he's stable and he ain't got no,
Right.
baby mama drama at that age. Like he
Well, yeah, I would
been
have to
through
accept
that
it
baby
now.
mama drama, and
It's hard not to find a man with kids now. So that's kind of like, so now it's like he can't have like 4 with 5 baby mamas.
Day.
Yeah.
4 with 5 baby mamas. Try to do that math real quick, like.
He can't have 4 with 5 baby mamas or nothing, but-
I'm dating you, and then I got to deal with baby mama drama 1, 2,
that's
and
real.
3. That's a lot.
That's real.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Baby mama drama is a lot.
Yeah.
Shit. I mean, even if you get away from just the relationship that you're in with your significant other, for the people that do have kids, that can be a toxic relationship as well, because you still got to deal with that person for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, at least 18
At least,
years.
at least 18 years. Like, hey,
Yeesh.
you talk to your daddy. I don't need to. You know what I'm saying? But that can affect a lot. That relationship that you have with your baby mama, baby daddy, or whatever can affect your relationship and actually contribute to the and y'all correct me if the toxicity. Nah, that ain't no word.
Toxicity is a word.
Toxicity.
It is today.
It is today.
It is
Toxicity
today.
isn't a word, but the way he's using that.
Yeah, I mean the toxicity of your relationship, it could actually add to that because of the drama that you're going through with with your baby mama, baby daddy. You know what I mean? It can really add to that. So try to keep everything. At least I try to keep everything copacetic. About y'all.
The more people that has to be in your relationship, I feel it's gonna make it a little bit rougher. Like if I come in, no kids, no baby daddy, you come in, no kids, no baby mama, it's just solely focused on us. But when you gotta put everybody in there and mamas and all that, it's a lot of different personalities.
I'll say
that
this.
working.
I feel you 100% on that. But even aside from like, you're the mother of your children, the father of your children, whatever, it can go as far as, you might have a mother that wants to tell you about every single dude that you date. And now she's in the middle of your relationship. She's telling you, I don't think he's right for you. And I'm going to tell you why. And then, then you start thinking about things that she's talking about. You know what? Subconsciously, you don't think that's affecting your relationship. But it actually is, though.
Yeah.
Because now when you're meeting up with this person, you're like,
My mama told me that.
my mama told me you was going to be like this. And you really did act like this on this date. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna say this. My mama told me growing up plenty of times, this person ain't your friend, that person ain't your friend, and I'd be damned if she wasn't right.
Every time.
Every single time. I mean, I'm not saying that my mother affects my relationships, because she doesn't. My mom don't even say anything about my relationships. But your mother knows you a lot better than anybody else. And sometimes they be right. Sometimes they might be wrong, but I know what my mom has told me growing up, especially about my friends, she's always been right.
You know what I learned though? Through past relationships, I try my hardest not to tell anybody anything.
Yep. Keep it to yourself.
I will forgive you.
Yep.
They not. And I got to deal with them. And
Right.
then you have to be in there with them. And because they're protective of me,
Yep.
it's going to be a rift. Like, so I don't tell nobody nothing.
Nothing.
And that's something
That's
I
what
actually
I learned.
learned through my long relationship as well. Just keep it
Her
to
friends
yourself.
is your enemies.
Boy,
Yeah.
they're not friends with you at any point. They're cordial to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Cordial and friends are two completely separate things.
Yeah.
Cause I am that friend.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't trust you.
Mhm.
But go ahead, girl. But as soon as you want to ride down,
That's
You'd
right.
be like, hey,
I'm right
hey,
here.
Devin.
Mm-hmm.
And all that. Like, keep moving, right?
Devin getting fist
Devin
bumps.
get there you go, Devin.
Scoop.
You know you cool with me right now.
Right now.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like this.
Like,
always
know.
watching you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think men are like that. I don't know.
You crazy.
That done been told on a lot.
I ain't gonna perk. Like, shit.
If
My close homies like, hey, your girl.
if I know, I mean, if I know
she,
something
she,
about
she
them,
ain't sus.
oh no,
You know
none
what I
of
mean?
them
She
ever
can't
gonna be
let-
sis.
Yeah, she can't expect it. You know what I mean? If my boy cheats, she can't expect me to be like, hey, you know he cheating. He a dirty mother. Nah.
I'm
ain't
trying to
giving
give
you all
everybody the benefit of the doubt until you give me
that.
a
I ain't
reason
giving you all
not to.
that.
You mean your man's girl? or
Yeah, like I'm not gonna like peep this. Maybe one of my boys used to talk to her back in 2012, and he didn't have a lot of good things to say about her or whatever. I'm not gonna sit up here and judge her because he might have been terrible. He might have been the toxic person in that relationship.
Oh yeah,
That's
I
So
stay
once you
on that. I
get
stay
once
on
you get in that new
anyway.
relationship with that person, yeah, I've heard about her, but I try to go in with the best thoughts possible.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say, bruh, you know, my homie Jacob used to talk to her back in 2012, and he told me she was a terrible girlfriend.
Yeah,
Like I'm not gonna do that. So I'm gonna go in with the best thoughts and try to be like, you know, support your relationship until she do some mess up stuff. Then I'll be like, blocked. I'm not friends with her. If you ain't friends with her, I ain't friends with her. You know what I mean? So, people, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about your friends, significant others? Do you give them advice right then and there, or do you wait? How do you feel that out? You know?
man, stay in your place.
Yeah, I used to give
Yeah.
advice, and then they turn on you.
Yes, they do.
But I'm like, oh, okay. I'll just be that listening.
But that's
ear.
why
And
you
then when
gotta-
you done, I say what I got. When I know you done,
Nah,
I say what I gotta
your real friend ain't gonna turn their back on you over. You know what I mean? You looking out for them.
Nah.
D is a
people-
powerful thing.
yeah.
Man.
And then come back like, girl, you was right. I was just going through a hard time. It was a
Yeah,
toxic
she-
relationship.
Oh.
So how do you deal with that when she come to you and tell you like, you know, something like that? I'm kind of
I
like,
just
girl,
be
you-
like, all right. But I will never, ever, ever, ever express my opinion again about anything.
yeah.
Even if it's right in my face. I'm
Yeah.
like, she'll find out.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I think as a friend, you're just supposed to be there to console. You know what I mean? I think advice in relationships is kind of, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's not something you want to do anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I know I've done it before. Shit, you know.
I mean, we all have.
Like, and I started to look at it like, man, you know what? Let me just be the, I feel you, bruh. Let me be the, I'm gonna be the I feel you, bruh type guy, man. I'm gonna be that friend. You know what I'm saying? I feel you, bruh. I'm with you. You know, and because advice, man, it gets ugly. It gets ugly. Cause
I mean, whatever advice you get from anybody, you know what I mean, at the end of the day, you still gotta, you know what I mean, go with how you feel.
you have to come to your own conclusion.
Yeah.
That's
But
mostly what I say.
I feel like it depends on your mentality as a person. You could be that person that's strong minded, and you're like, okay, I hear you.
Yeah.
I'll take it into consideration. I'll think about it. You could be that friend. You could be that person that's not so strong minded and be like, oh, he's right, bruh. She ain't right for me, man. I just need to leave. I just
Yeah,
need to
because
leave.
my homie wouldn't tell me
Yeah.
nothing wrong.
Exactly. So
Yeah, you the
it
worst
depends on
person
your
that want to be taking advice.
You know what I mean? Like, huh?
I catch that shade.
No, I'm saying like,
No, he
Oh, I
went
thought
to-
Damn, because y'all started getting weak. I thought it just meant in general too. She
I
was like,
said if you that weak-minded person,
y'all know
what I mean,
Portia the
you the wrong
instigator though.
person-
You know she the instigator.
You the wrong person that want to be. trying
Hey,
to
you
take
know he was
advice.
just talking about you on camera, right?
Yeah.
Like, damn. You know what I'm saying? But
I just started laughing because she was laughing. That's so funny.
I feel like if you getting advice from a lot of different people, you got a weak mind.
Yeah.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
I feel like you're not sure of yourself. Like at
You're not.
some point you gotta be able to be like, what is it that I wanna do?
I'll be completely transparent. I feel like I've been that person where I get advice from different people because I'm not sure. Like honestly, in relationships, I try to be
Is it
you
the
know,
same issue you getting advice from? Because I mean, you can go to different people and get different advice
Yeah.
about different situations.
Yeah, I mean, and I do.
'Cause I can't go to 4 different people about the same situation.
I've gone to 2 different people about the same situation. I don't go to a lot of people about the same situation.
Yeah.
But it'll be different things, like, because, like, I mean, from a woman's point of view, I might need a woman's point of view. So I might hit up Key.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, what you think about this? But then it'd be like, bruh, I'll be like, bruh, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I might hit up somebody else, like, hey, bruh, you know, what you think about this? Because everybody's mindset is different.
Mhm.
So I know, you might be the friend that's just like, you always got my back, but and not saying you are, I'm just talking in general.
Yeah.
But like, you might be the person that's always got my back, but then you're like, bruh, leave her ass. You know what I'm saying? Whereas I got another friend that might be like, bruh, I see where you're coming from, but maybe if you did this, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes some friends just be like, she's always wrong. Some friends be like, look, bruh, are you looking at yourself?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to figure out what friend you need to talk to at what time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But altogether, talking to your friends is really going to help with the toxicity of your relationship, because, it should be about you two. You know what I mean? At the end of the day.
I think it's very important to keep your relationship between the two of you. Once you start adding people is when there's a lot of issues. Because like she said, your friends ain't going to forgive. You might forget,
Right.
but they ain't going to forget.
Right.
And they
I
all
know.
remind you every time.
Yeah, all the time.
But you
Yeah.
notice, like, every time you go to somebody with advice or whatever, at the end of the day, all you and that person that you having an issue with, all y'all had to do was communicate.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it all come back
Yeah,
down to.
It's true.
I'll be honest again.
Like, you need to talk to her, bro, or she need to talk to you.
I didn't really learn how to communicate correctly.
Yeah.
And see, there's a difference between communicating with somebody and communicating correctly.
Mhm.
Because you need to be tactful when you're communicating as well. You can't just be like, look, motherfucker, you know you fucked up, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do that.
I'm so
You know,
proud of you.
Give me some.
I'm so
Nah, because I'm playing like that on camera again. But anyway,
Catch that shade?
You know
He's
what I'm saying?
learning. He is so learning
Anyway.
about tact. I love it.
because I got a smart mouth.
He got
And my
a
friends know that I have a
fire
really
mouth.
smart mouth.
It's awful.
And if you make me mad, I got a smart mouth regardless. But if you make me mad, then it's really smart. And I'm
he
kind
gonna
of
say
hurtful.
forget your mama, your grandma.
But isn't that hard though?
What?
Like to hold back?
It's hard to hold back.
Because I'm one of those people.
Because as soon as you say
I be
something to me, I
wanting-
got to be on the defense like,
But the thing
That is the
about
hardest
it, if
thing.
you say stuff, or people in general say stuff in the heat of being angry,
Exactly.
and you can't take it back.
Right.
I can't unhear that.
I just
Yeah.
talked to somebody about
So
that
now-
yesterday. I said, the one fault that we have as humans is we let emotions take over our good, what's the word I'm looking for? Our good sense of,
I know what you're trying to say.
our anyway. Anyway, is this? But it I don't even know what I was talking about, man.
You let your emotions
overpower your good judgment. Thank you. Nobody knew the word judgment. Nobody was gonna help me out.
What you was
Damn.
trying to say?
This was
Just
just
saying.
Right.
partner.
Right.
Anyway, our emotions take over our good judgment. Okay, so then we end up saying things that we really don't mean. We want to take them back, but then our egos will not let us take them back.
You can't.
And that's why communication gets all messed up. So honestly, I hate talking to my significant other about issues that we have. If we're getting into an argument, but we're not going to talk about it right then and there. We're going to cool off. Because if I'm mad, then I'm going to say some stupid stuff to you. And then it just blows it out of proportion. So I'd rather just take a break, take a drive somewhere. Let's talk shit. I even wait till the next morning. I hate when people talk about, we're not going to sleep mad. Fuck you. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to sleep mad. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's how I feel, man. I mean, how do y'all feel about that?
I'm a cool down person. I'm like, we'll talk about it in a minute.
Yeah, I'm definitely a cool down person.
Yeah.
Are
I'm
y'all
learning.
cool down people?
I ain't used to
Yeah.
be, but it's
I'm
kind of
learning.
like
You learning?
I'm learning.
sometimes the argument and going back and forth is just like it's just a waste right then and there. And later on, y'all both gonna cool down and come and hash it out and get it out.
I have learned not to text.
Oh,
Yes.
I have
I'm
learned
learning
that.
this.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna text,
That's what I've learned.
and I'm gonna start with I feel as though in this situation, instead of being like, I feel like you, I have to
Yeah.
focus on the me part, and that is just so hard.
Yeah.
That's hard, but don't text.
It's all about accountability. You know, a lot of us, we do not like to take accountability for our actions, and that's one big thing. You have to take accountability, and you have to be able to just flat out just own up to everything that you do, because we're not perfect. And you can say like, hey, we both have made mistakes. It's okay to say we both have made mistakes. You don't always have to say, you know what, when you did this, when you did this, when you did this, and it's not always about you, it's about us.
Yeah.
You gotta see yourself first.
And if all that doesn't work, that's our episode, y'all. So I'd like to thank you all for tuning in these past 5 weeks. We really enjoyed you all tuning in, being able to converse with you all back and forth, and maybe we'll see you in the future. But for right now, Bad Habits, check out that project. You'll see the date right below, and go from there. Appreciate it. Peace.
Mr. Downs, play that back.
Time and time again, I really wanna be your man. I really wanna work this out. You're a